This video is sponsored by Squarespace. What's going on, everyone? It's been a minute. As you can see, we are here in my new space. Over the last couple weeks, I've been moving into a new house, and right now we're in my bedroom because my office is still being worked on. We're kind of getting all that organized and everything, but that should hopefully be done here in the next couple weeks or so. So expect future videos to be filmed over there. But for now, we're here in my bedroom, and I wanted to take a moment today to talk about point and shoot cameras, specifically the Contax T3, which is the camera that I personally use. But point and shoot cameras in general, I think, are one of the best things that has happened to photography, and I want to explain why that is. So for me, I think a point and shoot camera, it just embodies taking photos of everyday life, whether that's really exciting stuff, whether that's pretty mundane stuff. It doesn't really matter. I think just having a camera like this that can go along with you and capture your life is pretty amazing, and it's really fun for me to do. I can honestly say that some of my favorite photos I've ever taken over the years have been with point and shoots. I've owned a couple Contax T2s, I've owned a couple of these guys, Contax T3s, Olympus cameras, all that kind of stuff. And I think in terms of the actual quality of the actual scan, which in this camera has to do with this amazing Carl Zeiss 35mm lens, I'm so happy with how these look. In my opinion, these 35mm scans look just about as good as anything else that I've shot on. And that's a big reason why I shoot with this thing. I think as a photographer, or just someone in general who enjoys photography, you aren't always going to have these picture perfect photographic moments. I think as a photographer, it's your job to seek those out on a daily basis. You're not always on a beautiful set, or you're out in the mountains. A lot of the time you're stuck at home or with friends or family, and I found that a point and shoot camera is by far the best way to capture those moments. Now, the Contax T3 itself obviously is a very pricey and I would say overpriced camera for sure for what it is. They've obviously gotten really popular over the years, and people love them, and a lot of celebrities use them. That's great, like you can be mad at that, or you can just accept the fact that they've gotten expensive. For me, I don't think that this camera is overhyped. I do think it's overpriced, but I don't think it's overhyped, and that's a pretty big difference for me. I honestly think that the scans coming out of this camera look absolutely incredible. Obviously, it has a lot to do with the Carl Zeiss lens, and Contax in general, I just love the brand. I have a Contax 645 as well, which is Contax medium format camera, and I love the Contax brand. Obviously, they don't make cameras anymore, so they're pretty hard to find, especially in good condition. I actually bought this camera off of a friend, so Haven, if you're watching, thank you. Haven is actually a good friend of mine who I used to share my studio space with, and he actually gave this to me for a pretty incredible deal, so thank you so much, Haven. I really appreciate that. But I've been absolutely loving this camera, and I wanted to take a moment today to just explain why that is, but also show you guys some photos that I've taken over the years with this camera. Now, I think when it comes to point and shoot cameras, obviously the best camera is 100% the one that you have with you. And I've shot on disposable cameras, I've shot on $5 thrift store cameras, I've shot on several different Olympus cameras over the years, Contax T2s, T3s, you name it, I've probably at least shot a roll through one of those. And I will stand by the fact that I just think, as long as you have a point and shoot camera, I think that's the best way to go about taking pictures of your daily life. You don't need the cream of the crop camera to document and have really amazing moments to look back on. I was actually just organizing some of my film negatives the other day. I'm up to about 8 binders now, and I would say almost half of those are point and shoot scans. Now, you might think that's crazy, but for me, looking back on all these photos and memories are pretty much priceless to me. And I can't wait to look back on these later in life when I have all these just random photos of life, of my friends, of my family, of random things that I'm interested in doing. I think this is what matters as a photographer, I think it matters just as much as making really impactful, interesting work outside of your personal life. But I think when it comes to documenting your personal life, you have such a gift to be able to document it in a way that you can look back on and be really proud of. Typically when I'm on a trip, I almost always bring a point and shoot with me. As of late, it's been this guy, and I've had a lot of fun shooting with it. I took it on a recent camping trip with my dad up to the mountains, and the scans turned out incredible. I also shot this on a recent trip to Colorado, road trip with my friend Jared, which you guys have seen the field trips episode with him. We went on like a 6-day camping road trip throughout southwestern Colorado. This camera performed amazing. I honestly liked some of these scans better than the scans from my Mamiya 7. And that's crazy to say, but I think why I like them so much is because when you take a photo with a point and shoot, it's so nonchalant that you don't really think about it, and you honestly forget about all the photos you took on the camera until you get back the scans, and you're like, wow, I forgot about all these little moments that I thought were interesting, and now I get to look back on them and relive every single moment. And for me, this is the reason why I love point and shoot cameras. The Contax T3 is an amazing point and shoot camera, but it is by no means the only point and shoot camera available on the market. So if you Google it or search on eBay and you see these astronomical prices, don't buy one, you know, buy whatever looks good to you. And I guarantee just having the philosophy and the mindset to go out and document your daily life with a point and shoot camera, I think you're really gonna love it. And this is a big reason of why I love photography is at the end of the day, even if I am not passionate or excited about what I'm working on, I always have this is what I gotta fall back onto to take photos of just my everyday life. And these are the moments that I'm gonna hold on to for years to come. Before this video wraps up, I did want to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace, for sponsoring today's episode. If you are looking to create a custom website from scratch without all the coding and hassles that come with it, Squarespace is by far the best choice out there, in my opinion, to make a beautiful website. They have easy to use templates, which make creating a beautiful theme that much easier, 24/7 customer support for all of your questions, and tons of customizable design and layout choices to really make your website stand out. For a photographer like myself, running a small business with multiple different kinds of needs, Squarespace really just makes sense. If you're interested in trying out Squarespace for yourself, go to squarespace.com/Samuel Elkins, which is in the description, to get 10% off your first website or domain purchase. As always, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you next week.